Welcome to a new video, and I want to start out the video by saying I'm so sorry. I have not been uploading at all. No particular reason, I've just been very lazy, and yeah, I wanted to let you know I did not disappear off the face of the earth, but I've been way too lazy to film, and you know, it's kind of relaxing not to stress out about videos. But I figured it's been forever. I don't know if I even uploaded in June. I don't even remember. Since school ended, I've just been trying to chill out. But I wanted to give you all a video. So today, I'm going to be talking about some of the unaesthetic sides of sustainability. Because the eco-friendly aesthetic seems to have taken over the internet. I feel like so many people just live sustainably when it's trendy. And the one thing I know for sure is that trends are not sustainable. For example, a lot of people bought metal straws to save the turtles, but if you're not going to use your metal straw, you're really wasting a lot more resources than otherwise. People also do things like using bamboo utensils or using bamboo toothbrushes. But if you already have utensils and toothbrushes, use those first, obviously. Well, yeah, it's nice to follow these trends that are at the same time kind of helping the planet. I think it's also really important to understand the sides of sustainability that aren't so trendy. So here's my list of things that are pretty ugly but still help the planet. Let's go. Okay, number one, I'm gonna say the packaging on plant-based foods. So packaging in terms of the eco-aesthetic is never a aesthetic thing. It's always like, ew, go zero waste, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. But in my opinion, and probably according to scientific data out there, sorry, there's like a really gross, oh my god, I got new glasses. Hi, I got new glasses, do you like them? Okay, but there's a glare on them, so sorry about that. I believe it's more important to go buy and eat foods or products that are plant-based and have some unsustainable packaging than are zero waste, but are doing a lot of stuff in the process of like getting the animals, killing them, using them, producing animals. Animals do a lot more harm than packaging, from my understanding. Over a year ago now, I've been vegan because I've made that decision that plants are more important than zero waste. Unfortunately, if you look at things like Beyond Meat, Impossible, all the meats, all the replacements, those all tend to come in heavy packaging. Not to say that the animal products didn't come in heavy packaging, but you know, the companies can get a lot more people buying this if they switch to more sustainable packaging. And if you can find plant-based stuff in sustainable packaging, go to your bulk store, go to a farmer's market, whatever you need to do. If you can do that, go for it, please. It's so great. Next is reusables. I'm not gonna say any reusables are bad, that would contradict everything I said, but they can be a little disgusting. Just gonna put it out there. You know, the idea of reusing tissues or like a handkerchief or whatever you're gonna call it, reusable pads, family cloth, which is reusable toilet paper, all that stuff, it just doesn't appeal to me. And we took the bidet approach with the toilet paper. You can work your way around it. I still have not done tissues, and I've considered it, should I stop using tissues? I don't blow my nose all that much, but I do occasionally. But on the other hand, although they might not be appealing, they are very helpful for the planet. Furthermore, reusing containers from maybe takeout or from peanut butter jars or something like that, if the lids aren't matching or the colors are different or they're different sizes, it's not aesthetically pleasing. But if you are given them for free, do not go recycle them. Use them, again, if you need these containers, or give them away. Let someone else reuse them. The next thing that I find not pretty aesthetically pleasing is basically me just being a sweaty mess after walking 5 miles after refusing to drive, because walking is obviously a little bit better than driving. This is of course just personal experience, but when possible, I do opt for walking or riding my bike rather than driving. And unfortunately, on a hot day like today, wherever I go, I'm gonna be a sweaty mess, and that's just a point you're gonna have to accept. The next thing we do, I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but if you have a glass bowl and you need to cover it or whatever, if you're swimming in it, I don't know, if you need to cover it, a lot of people tend to use saran wrap to do that, plastic wrap. And what my family has started doing is we will take a plastic bag from grocery shopping and just wrap it in that. We get it airtight enough, it stays fresh, it's all good, and we're not producing more plastic. We don't even own saran wrap anymore, which is so amazing to me. I hated that stuff. I think it's really important to put your extra bags to good use, and I know no aesthetic zero waster would approve of this, but we already had them and they're helping the planet, so why not? Of course, if you already have bowls that have like a lid with them, these are bowls but don't have lids, then use those, but like, if don't go buying the aesthetic bowls with lids if you already have bowls that just don't have lids. Okay, this next one is reusing single-use stuff. This might sound confusing, but hang on. I think we do this all the time. For example, a single-use water bottle, I don't have one in here right now, sorry, but a single-use water bottle that most people would dispose of or put in the recycling bin, get rid of right after the first use, can be used for months to years. We have the same water bottles from years ago. They just stay in our house, and you use them just like any other reusable water bottle. They don't work much differently. You don't have to be done with it after the first use. I think another thing you can do this with is single-use utensils. Single use, again. You can reuse those multiple times. If they're not broken, keep using them. That's kind of my motto. Similarly, the next one is using things until they're not usable in any way. I'm saying like wearing ripped clothing, like that was not intentionally ripped, which is kind of fast fashion anyways, and cutting it up into like rags that are all frizzy and like they have strings coming off them. I don't know if you understand at all what I'm saying. It's not very ideal for the eco aesthetic. However, it's what I do, what we do, what we need to do. Until a plastic bag has a hole in the bottom and cannot support anything or is ripped to shreds, keep using it. My backpack for school right now, I know it's not the school year anymore, but it has a hole in one of the pockets, the zipper broke off, but it's still holding all my books. I'm keeping it. It works. The other zipper still works. I can still get into it. I can still use it. It's still durable. This next one is partly moldy food. This is obviously gross. And I'm not a fan of eating mold, sorry to break it to you, but I am a fan of eating around it, cutting around it, whatever. If something is in the process of going bad, I like to save as much of it as possible. To me, just touching mold or anything like that is disgusting, but I think it's extremely important that we do all that we can to avoid creating food waste. This next one is bags in bags in bags. Does that make any sense? Basically, tell me I'm not the only one that does this, because does this even make sense? I don't know. During COVID, which, is COVID over? Does COVID have an official ending? Like, I feel like everyone's like, oh, March 13th moving forward was when COVID started. But now I'm like, are we still in a pandemic or are we not? I don't know. I think it depends where you live. But during the pandemic, we had been forced to order groceries online, and that convenience, I think, has sucked my mom back into doing it. Like, I don't do the groceries, sorry, but we have been ordering groceries online, and I have to admit that. And part of that's for our safety, part of that is out of convenience and laziness. But when we get the bags that all the groceries come in, sometimes they're paper, which I really like, but sometimes they're plastic. And what we do is we take them, and if the store doesn't want to take them back to recycle, because some stores do have recycling programs for their bags, we will take them, keep them, and reuse them for purposes that I've mentioned earlier in this video, as well as things like for pet poop, you can use them for packaging, lining your trash can. There's a whole bunch of things you can use plastic bags for. The next one is reusing water. I feel like these are all very confusing. This one might not sound too bad in terms of being not aesthetically pleasing, but hear the whole story. I've said it before on this channel that my family and I try to reuse water from cooking beans or proteins or whatever, and then like cook like a grain with it or something like that. Unfortunately, we have forgotten about this water multiple times. We leave it in the fridge for a week. It's disgusting, because then it gets moldy, it gets chunky, it's horrible. And I'm gonna let you know, we do not cook with it when this happens, do not worry. But what we will do is, or at least what I will do, is I will take it outside and water my garden with it, because extra protein for the plants. Just a bonus tip. But chunky, moldy, clumpy water is not super aesthetically pleasing. This next one is definitely something gross. I feel like this has just turned into gross things I do for the planet. Is that another title for the video? But that is not showering enough. Sorry for the TMI, but my eco-anxiety, my fear of running out, has made it very hard for me to shower. Showering uses many, many gallons of water, and to be completely honest, I do not shower as much as I should, but I feel like I'm being sustainable. I feel like I'm helping out. And the last one on my list for today is holding onto trash until I can dispose of it properly. I said this before, something you can do to help the planet and the environment. It's a little bit disgusting because you're holding trash. Maybe forget about it. Maybe it's just not pleasing to have trash in your pockets. But we need to really emphasize the idea of disposing of waste properly. If there's no trash bin around, I hold on to it. I'll hold on to trash for friends. I will do anything in my power to make sure that the trash does not end up on the ground. I'll also do the same with recyclable goods. If there's no recycling bin around, I will take that item home. Same with compostable items. It's like I have traveled with compost, like banana peels, in containers in my bag, waiting to compost them at my house if I can't compost them where I am, if I'm not outside, or if it's not my property. So with all this being said, those were just some ideas of what sustainability really does look like in my life, some of the gross things about it. Being on YouTube, especially presenting sustainability, I know I haven't been for the past month or so, but it doesn't mean I haven't been living unsustainably. I've just been keeping it to myself. It's like, it's hard to share that with the world, that you do disgusting things to help save the planet. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and found it at least a little bit interesting or relatable or whatever. Comment what you do down below to help save the planet, and also don't be afraid to try any of these things because ultimately they do help a little bit. Also remember to like and subscribe. If you made it this far, you probably have something wrong with your head, because look at me, I'm like, I do all this gross stuff and you're still here watching. But until next time.